What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we're going to be looking at the Asher Nomad. Really been impressed with this company. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be looking at the Asher knives. This is the Nomad. Now, I messed up on the unboxing. I get the Nomad and the Century mixed up, but the Nomad has a drop point blade shape and the Century has like a harpoon with a fuller. Really excited to get that in hand. I should be able to get one of those in hand soon, but this one is actually loaned to me by my buddy Kevin, aka Lefty EDC. The man has just been awesome to me and the channel. Very super cool dude. I will have his Instagram linked down below. He does some really cool stuff. He is obviously a lefty, and so this knife works very well for left-handed folks. As you can see, it has an Axis style lock. And it's very fidgety. So with this drop point blade, S35 VN, and G10 handles, just makes for an excellent EDC knife. It has the size of that, and this review is going to be a comparison. When you look at this knife, you probably see Benchmade Bugout, okay? And I get it. Whenever I first saw this knife, I thought the same thing. There are differences. So what we are going to do is we are going to kind of put these two together and see what the differences are and kind of come to a conclusion about which one you should buy. Now, the Benchmade Bugout is a very popular knife right now. It came out a few years ago, especially the guys over at Blade HQ. They fell in love with this thing. And so it does have some really good properties. However, there are differences in these. This is not a clone of a Benchmade at all. This is definitely a different knife, but they are similar enough that I thought most people, and I've heard most people, compare these two. So let's go ahead and do that together. This one, of course, wearing G10 with full liners, a backspacer, a G10 backspacer, deep carry pocket clip, and S35 VN. The Benchmade Bugout, for the most part, your base models, are FRN handles with very small, not really liners at all. Basically just has the metal portion of it to house the Axis lock and the S30V blade. So, you know, arguably S35 VN is a more premium steel. Now, I don't know much about the heat treat process at Asher Knives, but I have had a few in the hand already and used them, and everything seems to be legit as far as their heat treat and the way they're doing it. The edge is awesome on this knife. So both of them have a great blade shape, and both of them have premium steels. So you have to give a little bit to the Asher knife as long as everything is good to go as far as their heat treat process. And the S35BN, I think, is a better steel than the S30V. This is actually the Benchmade Bugout definitely has the Asher Knife Company's Nomad for variety. You have so many different varieties that you can get as far as color combinations of handle scales, coated blade, non-coated blade. So definitely takes the cake there because you have a lot more options with the Benchmade Bugout. The one thing that I really noticed right off the bat is the action on the Asher Nomad. This thing functions better than the Bugout. Like, it's not even close. Now, this one is running on bearings. They did have some that were running on washers. This one in particular, the newer ones, run on bearings, and it makes for just a one hell of an action. Like, it is night and day with the Bugout. I mean, as you can see, I mean, it's a Benchmade, so it has that, but the action on this thing has to have a lot more wrist to kind of get it down in there. It pops out, but it pops out a lot slower than the Nomad. I mean, it's just night and day difference. Definitely feels like a, I don't want to really, it feels like a more premium Bugout, or not a Bugout, but a Benchmade action. which I know, the Benchmade or the Axis lock, ran out as far as the patent a while back. So it is definitely able to be used, and it is used by quite a few manufacturers. So it's just what it is. This one feels just hands down better than the Bugout. Now, I'm not going to say it feels better than some of the other Benchmades out there, but as far as the Bugout, yeah, there's really no comparison there. The Bugout is definitely a lighter knife. The reason people love this knife is because of how light it is. You can basically carry it in any kind of attire, basketball shorts, and it's just not going to pull down your pants or anything like that. That's what this knife is marketed for, and it does well with that. I mean, it's definitely a very light knife. This one feels much more substantial and beefier in the hand because of the full liners and that big G10 backspacer, which, you can get this in black, black G10 as well. The G10 is really done phenomenally. They didn't skimp out. It's definitely rounded all the way around. Good chamfering and rounding. No hot spots as far as sharpness or anything like that. The pocket clip is a loop over pocket clip. It kind of sticks out right there, but it goes in and out of pocket well. And with my hand size, I don't feel that pocket clip. As you can see, the ergonomics is just great. It feels as good as the ergonomics on the Bugout, except for because this thing is so light, which I know is a selling point for a lot of people. When I pick this up versus this, I feel like I'm picking up a toy knife versus a knife. A lot of people are going to give me crap for that because a lot of people like the weight of the Bugout for a reason. It does have a purpose. I'm not saying that it's not great, because it is. It's just this knife, as far as the way it gets out of there, and you can get it back with those bearings. The G10 versus FRN, yeah. I prefer the feel of this knife versus this knife. Now, like I said, I totally understand why people like the lightweight. It's good. Both of these are right-hand tip, right or left-hand tip-up only carry. So that's awesome. Of course, the Axis lock, lefties love this because it is totally ambidextrous, and I think that's awesome. That's what I love about the Axis lock. Size-wise, these things are pretty doggone similar. You got the Benchmade at 7.46. You got the Nomad at about 7.4, so just a tiny bit smaller. Closed length on the Nomad is 4.2. The closed length on the Benchmade is 4.22. So, it's pretty doggone similar. Both of these have a blade length of 3.2. I think this one might be just a tad bit bigger than 3.2. Both have the same blade width. Both have the same blade thickness. They're about 90 thousandths blade thickness. Like almost identical as far as that is concerned, which makes for a pretty slicey blade. Now, the Asher knife is about 22 thousandths behind the edge is what I measured it, and the Benchmade was about 20, so it's just a little bit thinner behind the edge here. This one has been sharpened, and it's actually been sharpened by me a couple times because this is a knife that I bought my buddy, and he let me borrow this for this review. Thank you, Scott. You are the man. So this one has been sharpened. It is right now checking about 20 thousandths behind the edge. He uses the heck out of this thing too, by the way. So the main difference, we're going to do weight in a second. Look at the difference in the thumb studs. That's one of the reasons why this thing is a little bit easier to deploy. I like these thumb studs. These are bigger, and so I can actually get more of a purchase to flick that thing out there. The Benchmades work fine. It's just they're a little bit smaller and a little bit more low profile, and it's the same thing, which is this is a bigger difference. If you see the Axis lock studs, I guess, you see how much further this one sticks out versus the Benchmade. I love that. Now, I mean, some people I could see like, hey, that just makes it thinner, or sorry, thicker. But I mean, in the pocket, you're not going to feel that. You don't feel it while you're closing your fist around the knife to get a good purchase. But it makes it so much easier to get that Axis lock up and down. It's just it's a lot better. I really like the fact that they made this bigger than the Benchmade, because just that little bit of a detail makes this thing easier to engage, disengage, use the lock itself to get this knife open and closed. You can do it with just one side instead of having to pull down both sides. You can actually just do one side and bring it down. Some Benchmades you can do that, other ones you can't, such as this one, to be able to pull it down and bring it back in. You can definitely do it, but the action is just crappy on this thing compared to the Nomad, I'm telling you. But, like I said, bearings versus washers, a lot more weight. Well, but not in the blade. The blades are pretty much the same. So, yeah. So it's close. You do have a lanyard hole out here on the Benchmade, and you do not have a lanyard hole on the Asher Nomad. So most people are not going to care about that. I don't know anybody who puts a lanyard on their Bugout. So I don't think that's really an issue. Both of them do come with deep carry pocket clips. The Benchmade definitely sits deeper. So if you care about deep carry, the Benchmade is going to sit deeper in your pocket. The Asher knife has a loop over deep carry clip that works really well. It's stone washed, so it's pretty. But it does, you can see, it doesn't go all the way to the butt of the knife. And I know a lot of people have complained about that. But, I don't, because I don't care about deep carry. I think it sits perfectly adequate in your pocket. The pocket clip works great in and out of the pocket. However, the way the pocket clips are, how the Asher knife kind of loops up a little bit more than on the Bugout. With my big old fat hands, it really does not, I don't feel it, but I know people with smaller, skinnier, maybe bonier hands might feel that, but in my hand, not at all. It locks up solid on the way this is, and you actually get extra Omega springs with this. A lot of people don't like the Omega springs in the Benchmades, and that's why they don't have them. I've only known one person to have the Omega spring break, but I know it's happened before. They actually supply you a couple just in case that happens, where you don't have to send the knife off. You just replace the Omega spring. That's genius. I mean, I don't know anybody who, as of yet, who've broken the Omega spring on the Asher knife. Of course, it has happened on the Benchmade, but I feel like the Omega spring in the Asher knife is a little stronger than the one in the Benchmade. And that's not only on the Bugout, it's also on the other Benchmades that I have. I feels like it's just a little bit stiffer. But like I said, the fact that these big old thumb studs or access lock studs, you don't feel it. You can feel it, but it doesn't cause a problem it being stiffer. Matter of fact, I like it a lot better than I do the feeling of the Bugout. That is for sure. So, okay, so let's go ahead and get down. This is definitely a deciding factor for a lot of people. If you were looking for lightweight knife for just everyday carry and you don't really want to feel anything in your pocket, then obviously the Bugout is going to be for you. Just to kind of give you, 1.85 ounces. That's nothing. Like, my flashlight weighs more than this. The things that I carry on a daily basis, this right here is almost too light for me. I know some people are going to go crazy when I say that, but it's almost too light for me. But it does what it's supposed to do. This knife was designed to be lightweight, but capable with a good steel to get your everyday tasks done. Now, here is the Asher Nomad. So, as you can see, it is 3.35 ounces. It's substantially more heavy, but that is an excellent weight for an EDC knife. The fact that it weighs that much really has to do with the full liners G10 backspacer versus these little barrel spacers on the Bugout and the FRN handles. You really have nothing supporting this blade. You can see, you can squeeze this down. That's a lot of people's problem with this knife. This doesn't have the rigidity that a lot of other knives have. With this one, it definitely feels more beefy. Like, I can do a lot more work with this knife than I can with this. But like I said, it's not designed for work like that. It's designed for your basic EDC tasks. So I'm not knocking the Bugout for that. It's just I like a more substantial feel of a knife, and that's what this gives me. It does not have any milling inside the internal liners except for, cut out where all the excess lock is, or the Axis style lock. So would be nice to see some internal milling on these steel liners to bring that weight down a little bit, and it would be a little bit more compelling to some to try to compare it to the Bugout. I don't think you would ever get to that weight, but something closer to that weight would bring this knife over the top. The other thing that really brings this knife over the top for me is the Benchmade Bugout. It runs from anywhere from $120 to this one right here is like $144, and it can go a little bit further up. You can get different handle scales and whatnot. This one is around $85 with premium G10, premium S35V in steel, bearings, and an axis lock that works better than the Benchmade. I think this is an absolute steal of a deal. I definitely, I actually have a friend at work who likes Benchmade. I gave him this, and he did not want to give it back. He wanted this knife. I said, hey, man, it's not mine. It's a loan from a buddy. So he is definitely going to be picking one of these up because the action is so much better than the one he has on his Benchmade. So that says a lot, guys. You can do the reverse flick on this guy really easy the way the thumb studs are positioned. So all in all, like if you're looking for a good left-handed knife, that's for sure, because that's what these are excel at. But even though you're not looking, even if you're not left-handed and you want a good EDC blade, I don't think you can go wrong with this one. Now I have, what is it? The Asher Silva. I put that one on the channel not too long ago. You can go check that review out. That is a full titanium frame lock with S35VN. It is a flipper. Very, very well made knife. Still a budget option for what you're getting. And I cannot wait to get the Century, which has a harpoon blade shape and a fuller in it that I think looks sick. And they're the same price. So yeah, all in all, I really think that this is a very compelling option for those who are looking at the Benchmade and like, Benchmades, they're just a little higher, and they're proud of their product. I mean, the biggest difference is this is made in the USA. This one is not. So that's going to put a lot of people over the edge toward the Benchmade. However, the overseas manufacturing of the Asher knives as of right now has proven to be an excellent company and manufacturing facility, because these things are built really well. I mean, I can't knock anything about the fit and finish that you get, the action, the materials that are used. I just can't knock it. And, not everybody can afford. I mean, if they're looking for a sub $100 knife, you can't get this at sub $100. You just can't. And you get S35VN steel and G10 versus the FRN. So it's a very compelling argument, guys. I totally understand America first. We want to buy America first. But you cannot deny the quality that you get from some of these overseas manufacturing, and Asher knives has been killing it. They are killing it. And I am super happy to be able to have them on the channel to show you guys, because I get comments all the time. You have these knives, I can't afford it, but and I get it. I was like that for a long time. So a good premium, okay, let's just put it this way. The SOG Terminus XR. The SOG Terminus XR I had on the channel, I did not like that knife. It was okay. But the Axis style lock, I guess what they call it, the XR lock. Now, this is better than this. But it is like galaxies away from the SOG. The SOG, I did not like it. It felt mushy. It was not snappy at all. This one, oh yeah. I mean, it's just better all the way around. So anyways, this is a quick little review / comparison of these two knives. I totally understand what people say as far as these things looking like they are definite competitors, and I do believe that they are. They are two different knives, however, and I think they're both great options. As of right now, this video is for the Asher Nomad, and I really think it is the better deal between these two knives. Hands down, better steel, better rigidity, better action. It's just the two things that this has going for it is the lightweight and made in America, and that can put a lot of people way on the side of the Benchmade versus this. But if you're looking at just value, this is such a better value than the Benchmade. I'm gonna get you a lot of hell for this. I know I am, but it's just a better value. I mean, you can't deny it. So I am really loving this knife. A lot of my friends loved this knife, and so this is an excellent one that I can recommend for the $85 price point. You just can't beat it. So guys, that is about it. I am so very, very thankful for Lefty EDC letting me borrow this knife and put it on the channel. I have been very happy with it. He is such a great dude. He's also the one that's probably going to send me the Sentry, and we'll be able to put that on the channel as well. And I'm really excited because I love that blade shape. So guys, thank you so much. Stay tuned for more. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell if you want to see more. We've got so much coming on the channel. It's been fun. I love you all. Stay safe in this crazy world that we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.